talk about Moana.
Moana!
Is this the first movie that The Rock did as far as like a children's movie? Doing a voice for?
He's done lots of children's movies, but usually he's like live action.
And he can sing, apparently.
Yeah.
I looked it up last night.
He actually did sing it?
Right. The girl had a separate singing voice, and the chief had a separate singing voice, but The Rock did his own singing.
Nice.
And that was impressive.
Go Dwayne.
So let's talk about Moana real quick. First of all, I think I liked it more than Fantastic Beasts. And it was adorable and entertaining and funny from start to finish.
It was.
And it tells the story of a young girl, a Polynesian tribe, and they live on this island, and for some reason that I guess they tell you at the very beginning, they don't travel outside the reef. They don't sail out, and it's like a dangerous thing. They're like, we don't do it. And she's the chieftain's daughter, so she's a Disney princess, basically.
Yeah, essentially. And even the Rock even has a line about that.
About her being a princess, yeah.
You're the daughter of the chief, you've got an animal companion, you're a princess.
Right. So she is the chosen one, chosen by the ocean to go and retrieve the heart of Tafiti and retrieve this demigod, Maui, who had originally stolen it, and take him back to return the heart because their plants and crops are dying and there's no fish where they usually fish. And her father is dead set against it, of course. And it's her grandmother that kind of talks her into doing it because she reveals that their tribe was originally voyagers who would just travel from island to island and populate the islands. So can we talk about the quality of the animation of this? Because it seems like for every new CGI Disney movie that comes out, it just looks better and better. One scene in particular looked fantastic, and that's when she crashed on Maui's island and she's covered in sand.
Yeah.
And she shakes it off, and it just looked so
And you could
real.
see like individual grains of sand.
Individual grains of sand and like the strands of hair, and it's just getting so much better. I am a fan of traditional animation, but also, I mean, the CGI stuff is great. And how crazy is it that these days children don't remember, like, children that are born now or that are 5, 6, 7, even 10 years old don't remember a time before CG movies.
Wow.
I remember when Toy Story first came out, and that was like a big deal that it was all computer animated. And like Final Fantasy Spirit Within, when that came out, that was like a big deal. And now that's the norm, it seems like, especially for animated movies. So this had a lot of good songs in it. Particularly, my favorite song in the movie was the song that they sang on the flashback when they're on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it shows that they were voyagers, and the song that they're singing, like the sailing song.
Yeah.
I really liked that. One interesting thing about this movie that I kind of picked up on is that there's no clear villain of the story. Okay?
Yeah, there really isn't.
We don't have an Ursula.
Yeah.
We don't have a Scar. We don't have a Jafar. We don't have a Hades. There's no clear villain. In fact, if any character could be considered the main antagonist of the story, it's Maui.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, I mean, I think that's really accurate because all of the unfortunate things that are happening to Moana's village are because of the fact that Maui stole the heart of
Tafiti.
Tafiti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did it unintentionally.
He did it to earn the love and respect of humanity.
Right.
And it turned out to be a really bad friggin' idea.
Right. Now there are some enemies in the film. First, there's the scene with the little coconut pirates, the Coco Moran, I think they're called.
I was kind of hoping that they would come back because they were adorable.
I read on the Wikipedia article about the movie that the directors of the movie made that scene as an homage to Mad Max Fury Road.
I could see
and
that.
I totally see it.
I could see that, yeah.
We also have the giant crab. I forget his name, but he's voiced by Jermaine
Clement.
Right, from Flight of the Conchords. And then, of course, we have the big lava monster.
Yeah.
Tapa or Taka or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird names in this movie that I would have to watch over and over again in order to remember them.
Right.
But then later on in the movie, we find out that the lava monster isn't exactly who we think she is. But overall, it was a pleasure to watch. And honestly, I didn't even see a trailer for it until you suggested we see it yesterday. Yeah. And I remember seeing some things about it online and I was just like, I don't really have any intention of seeing it, but you suggested that we go see it, and I'm really glad you did, because I had a great time.
I mean, and we had just talked about Disney movies last
Beauty
week.
and the Beast.
Yeah. When we were talking about Beauty and the Beast, we were talking about how much love that we had for all of those old, the Disney Renaissance movies, Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, all that stuff. And it occurred to me, I mean, if we already talked how about how much we love Disney stuff,
why aren't we going to go see
Why aren't we going to go see the new one?
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you talked me into it. I think that it was more enjoyable for me as a 35-year-old man than Frozen. When Frozen came out, I was married and had a 4-year-old stepdaughter. Yeah. And it was just terrible. It was just terrible being around a 4-year-old girl when Frozen came out, because it was just let it go all
let
day.
It go.
And I'm like, no, you let it go.
Let it go.
Just let it go. Lock it up. All right. But there's some controversy surrounding this film because apparently the people of the Hawaiian, Samoan, Polynesian descent are saying that the characters are stereotypical. They don't like that Maui was portrayed as fat, which I didn't really see that, and he's just a big buff dude.
Yeah.
And if you look at any pictures of like those kind of tribes people in that region, they're big dudes. Mm-hmm. They're big dudes. Yeah. I mean that's just kind of how their physiology plays out. So I didn't really see him as fat. I saw him as super buff, actually, and just, solid. Mm-hmm. It's not like he was blubbery and all that kind of
like
stuff.
He had I guess a little bit of a belly, but maybe, that's like the ideal body though, isn't it?
I guess. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Fair point. Yeah, I mean, that's my thing. That's why I'm asking, because I don't know either.
Right. But as an overweight person myself, I'm tired of seeing the whole
statuesque.
No. I'm opposite of that.
Oh.
I do not appreciate that the whole stigma of what is referred to as fat shaming, because I don't really believe that is as big of a problem. I don't think that people really discriminate against fat people, and it's something that we have control over. Mm-hmm. It's just I lack the motivation to do anything about it. Now,
likewise.
Once upon a time, I did do something about it and really watch my calorie intake and really exercise, and I lost 80 pounds in 8 months.
Nice.
I still weigh less now than I did when I graduated high school. So, I mean, I'm kind of against that whole thing, but this is kind of going off the topic.
A little bit.
But I don't see how someone, after they see the film, could be that offended by it. I think that they treated that region or that culture with respect and reverence. And it was fun to kind of go and look at the history of that story, because Maui is a demigod in that folklore of that culture. It's not something that was just made up for this movie. It was... it's an actual thing.
Well, and I stayed through all the credits because I saw that there. I always look up, like during the credits. I always look up to see if there's anything after the credits.
We need to start doing that before we go to the movie.
I'm just always worried that I'm going to see spoilers, because a lot of those after the credits,
they'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I looked it up while I was, sitting there waiting for the credits to be over, but as they started to get towards the end of the credits, like I saw how many people that they had consulted on the history, the mythology, all of that stuff. Well, they talked to a lot of people to get as much information packed into this movie as they could.
And that's what I like about Disney, man. They do their homework.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's kind of funny. Taika Waititi, who is going to be directing, I think... Which one is it? Thor?
Black
Ragnarok?
Panther?
Oh, yeah, no, I think it is Black Panther, yeah. He was one of the people that they consulted.
Awesome.
For this movie as well. So I thought that was super cool.
So what do you think about like the performances of the movie? The little girl was kind of cast out of nowhere. She answered an audition and she got the role and was very convincing with her voice acting. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, of course, was great. And there's no other wrestler that has been that successful in movies.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the closest that they
is
got
Dave Bautista. The
well,
closest.
He's only been in one big movie so far.
He was apparently also in Spectre.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I just watched that for the first time last week.
Because I'm thinking of Hulk Hogan, because he did have some starring roles in some movies, but they were just cheesy, dumb movies. Yeah. And whenever The Rock first started acting, I kind of thought that was going to be the same thing, but now he's like in some...
He's a legitimate actor.
He's legit. Yeah, I think he's more of a legitimate actor than he is a wrestler these days.
Well, excuse me. Yeah, he is, absolutely, because he has kind of stepped back from doing actual, WWE stuff. He still shows up on occasion because he is still a superstar.
I'm not that big into wrestling as I used to be when I was a kid, but...
And we have a lot of friends that talk about it all the time.
I remember when he was Rocky Maivia.
Yep.
So that's kind of like and he was in the Nation of Domination with Farouk, who was Ron Simmons, who was the first black world champion in WCW. I mean, that's like whenever I used to watch wrestling,
right?
And then so like I haven't watched wrestling. Like John Cena wasn't even a wrestler when I quit watching. So
right.
I mean, I know who he is now because of all the memes.
Yeah,
and everything.
there are memes everywhere.
But I'm keep being impressed by
pretty much everything he does.
The Rock, yeah, and
You know what his next movie is going to be?
What?
The Jumanji sequel.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I want to wait until I see a trailer for it because right now it looks ridiculous.
Well, good for him. So
right?
The directors of this movie were the same guys that did The Little Mermaid, and I made a comment to you while we were watching the movie about how she wanted to go into the water and her dad wouldn't let her. I was like, this is the opposite of The Little Mermaid.
Polar opposite. Yes,
because the Ariel wanted to go to dry land and she was stuck in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this movie, Moana, being as big as Frozen because I don't see it as being as relatable.
Well, okay, so
we were the target demographic.
Exactly. We were in the theater. We were watching it, and obviously it was Saturday night. We were surrounded. There were surrounded by children.
Oh my god! And okay, so I rarely go to movies where there's tons of kids there, and that theater was trashed as we were walking out. Yeah. By the way, anyway.
But as we were sitting there watching, it was probably as the third act was starting. I heard from across the aisle this little kid say, "Can we leave?"
Oh, I hate that.
I'm bored. Can we leave?
Oh,
I was like, "You little shit."
So the animal sidekick in this is a chicken named Hey Hey, who was voiced by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, freaking Wash.
Yeah, Wash from Firefly, or the Pirate Steve.
Yep, Pirate Steve.
Dodgeball. And the directors of the movie said that Hey Hey is the dumbest character in the history of Disney.
I don't think that I can disagree with that statement.
But I'll tell you, the guy sitting behind us in the movie theater really loved that chicken because he was cracking
up
every time
that
chicken was on screen. I kind of relate that chicken a little bit to the squirrel from the Ice Age movies, but the squirrel was more intelligent than the chicken.
Somehow.
The chicken was just straight up dumb.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my favorite song in the movie is the Voyager song. My second favorite is Jermaine's song, of course. I could listen to him sing everything.
Everything and anything all the time.
I'm glad that he's getting a lot of success and a lot of exposure.
He's getting a lot more success
A lot more than
lately.
the other dude.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other guy do...
What's I don't even remember his partner's name. I'll remember it eventually.
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah, it is Brett.
Brett
and Jermaine.
Brett and Jermaine, yeah. But I'd like to see more out of him. I'm glad that he's getting parts in Disney movies and Dwayne Johnson is getting parts in Disney movies. And I'm glad to see that there's this movie shouldn't be pissing off any SJWs because there's no white people in it at all. Right? It's all one culture of people that it's specifically focusing on.
And I was just looking up the IMDb page to see because I thought the chief sounded weird. Like his accent, I thought it sounded weird.
He sounded familiar. I looked it up and I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him either. But he is, of Polynesian descent or Samoan or Hawaiian, somewhere in that area.
In that region.
Almost every person in this movie was.
Right, and I read that they dubbed that movie in the native language of that country, which is the third time Disney has done that.
Nice.
So I applaud Disney for being able to represent other cultures, and I really wish there was more male protagonists in Disney movies, because you've got
I
think
maybe
the
Big
last
Hero
Hero 6.
Yeah, Big Hero 6
had a male protagonist. But the problem is, Disney princesses, of course, are their bread and butter.
Oh,
but
yeah.
what about the little boys? Who do they have to relate to?
Well,
of course, they can want to be big and strong like Maui or whatever. But,
right. But you mentioned Big Hero 6, and that is a great movie. That is an outstanding movie. It's so
How horrible
good.
is that?
That one's so good. But then I was trying to think of the last time before that, The Lion King.
Yeah.
And the last time before that was like The Black Cauldron.
Oh my God. No way. What about Hercules?
Hercules, I did. Okay, yeah, I forgot about Hercules, which would have come between Lion King and Big Hero 6.
With Disney, you like their last big movie as far as animated kids movie was Zootopia, right? And that was Judy Hopps. So, and this one we've got Moana, which is fine. I'm not complaining, but I would like to see some like. It seems like you've got Cars and it's Lightning McQueen, but he's a car.
Yeah.
And they had a trailer for the new Cars, and I was like, Lightning McQueen is dead, and this little boy
freaked out.
No, he didn't. I wouldn't say he freaked out, but he looked back at me and was glaring at me, shaking his head, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
And he apologized to his mother, and she was like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's weird. Going to a kids movie is weird because I don't know. I felt like I was more free to kind of joke around in the theater as opposed to going to see a movie with a bunch of adults where everyone's like, shut up, be quiet. It's almost as if you're at a kids movie and you're surrounded by kids. You kind of give everybody a pass in that kind of environment. You really have to. It's not like you can get mad at every single kid.
Exactly.
I remember when I saw The Two Towers in IMAX, there was a kid behind me and it was opening night and he just wouldn't shut up through the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I just looked back and was like, are you going to talk through the whole movie, dude? And he was just turned white. I was like, no. And then after the movie, he apologized to me. I was like, it's okay, man, but just remember that, we're all here to enjoy these movies.
Yeah.
I felt bad, but at the same time, I'm like, kid needs to get told.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, fuck you, shut the fuck up. I was like, dude, are you going to talk through the whole movie? Because I'll just find another seat. So
and if the person that had brought the kid to the movie wasn't going to tell them, hey, be quiet, everybody's trying to enjoy the movie,
right,
then it's kind of somebody else's job to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, it ruins it for everyone.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that Disney is branching out, getting more diverse in what they do, all the research that they put out on all of their media. We saw a trailer before Moana about what was it called? Birth in China, or it's a new
the Disney nature.
Yeah, it's a
thing?
new Disney nature documentary taking place entirely in China.
Right.
Disney is
cute little baby panda bears.
Exactly. Disney is taking over the world.
I'm not mad about it though.
Because
they have good content.
Not either. Yeah.
They've got Star Wars, they got Marvel, they've got
But
the
know
Disney
that they're
movies.
releasing this movie specifically for China because China is the single largest movie viewing block in the entire world.
Right.
It's a genius business decision.
Let me ask you this, and this is kind of jumping to a different topic, but do you think we're going to see more Polynesian-inspired names after this movie comes out? Because how many girls are going to be named Elsa because of Frozen?
There are already a lot.
I would love to see, just meet a little kid one day and his name's Maui. Or a little girl named Moana. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
And tattoos. I loved the way they used tattoos in the movie, and about how one of his tattoos is alive and kind of communicates, and he gets one. The mother had tattoos. How soon are we going to get a Disney princess with a tattoo?
Ooh.
Because they're becoming more and more culturally acceptable as time goes on. I remember being a kid, my dad was like, you should never get a tattoo. You'll regret it for the rest of your life. Well, I have 4 now, and they're just a part of me. I barely even realize that they're there these days. I'd love to get more, but damn it, they're expensive.
Well, see, and that's part of I don't have any tattoos, but I've also never had anything that I want permanently etched on my body. I've never come across any image or statement or thought or idea media that
Let's get Trump 2016.
I might as well go ahead and get myself my registration tattoo.
All right, I've got a buddy who lost a bet, and the loser had to get a tattoo of the other person's choice, and it's a silhouette of Michael Jackson doing like where he's standing on both tiptoes from like the Billie Jean video. He got it on his thigh.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Is there anything else we want to talk about as far as Moana goes?
It's great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Okay, so
go see it.
I was texting you because you had left. I stayed to watch the post-credit scene, but you guys had left. And I was telling you about it, and you were telling me back. I love that movie. I think I might have liked it more than Fantastic Beasts. And I said, yes, that song that Moana sings, her song, which again, they do the thing where they have, bits and pieces of it throughout the entire...
It's the theme,
it's the theme song. But I could absolutely see that song if this movie takes off the way we hope it does, because it is a great movie.
Yeah, it's like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I could see that song being the next Let It Go.
Well, I mean, that is what they're shooting for. I think as far as the wide appeal of it, and I mean, you got to remember, man, we're living in a country that just elected Donald Trump as president, so there might be
all the characters in this movie are brown.
Are people of color, and and so that there makes me think that it's not going to be as big as Frozen. Frozen to me was annoying, and there were parts of it that I feel like insulted my intelligence. This movie, I didn't feel that at all.
Absolutely
I
not.
smiled and laughed throughout the whole thing. I was engaged throughout the whole thing. The story made sense. And was easy to follow, and was a different story than what we're used to. Here's one thing I will say. I want a Moana video game, a straight-up Wind Waker style Moana video game. How good would that be?
I would play the shit out of that
I would
game.
play the fucking shit out of that. You could switch off between being Maui and being Moana. You could like solve puzzles. He has to like transform into a different kind of animal to get you to the next thing. That would be cool.
The boss battle at the end against the giant lava monster. It'd be amazing.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, people.
Make it happen, Disney.